The drill sergeant had taken one look at her and made his decision. Princess doesn't belong here. The other recruits agreed. When they saw her struggling with the obstacle course, they burst into laughter. Until she scored perfect in the urban warfare simulation, nobody was laughing that day. Her name was Maya Chen, and her story began with an ordinary decision. At 26, working for a software development company in San Francisco, Maya wanted change in her life. She had studied computer engineering in college, earned her degree from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and had a successful career in the tech world. But something was missing. It was her father's stories that influenced her. Her father, a Vietnam War veteran, rarely shared his military memories, but when he did, they ignited Maya's imagination. Real strength, her father would say, isn't in physical power, but in being able to make the right decisions in difficult moments. Maya's decision had been sudden: quit her job at the tech company and enlist in the military. Her friends were shocked. "You're going to be a soldier?" her closest friend Lisa had said. "You don't even go to the gym." But Maya was determined. Maybe she lacked physical strength, but she had analytical intelligence, problem-solving abilities, and strategic thinking. She thought these could be valuable in a military setting. Her first day at Fort Bragg, reality hit her in the face. When she stepped off the bus, the difference between her and the other recruits was clearly visible. Most were physically strong and athletic. Maya, with her thin wrists accustomed to carrying laptop bags and her thick glasses, looked completely out of place. Drill Sergeant Thompson had evaluated her the moment he first saw her. The instructor with 20 years of experience thought he could estimate soldiers' potential at first glance. "Name?" he barked. "Maya Chen, Drill Sergeant." "Chen? Why are you here?" "To serve my country, Drill Sergeant." Thompson looked at Maya. There were still remnants of old pink nail polish on her fingernails. Her hands were soft, hands that had never done manual labor. Her posture wasn't disciplined, but the relaxed attitude of civilian life. "Princess," Thompson muttered. This nickname would be the name Maya would be known by from now on. The first week was a complete nightmare. When the wake-up call rang at 5, Maya was still in deep sleep. She was used to starting work at 10 at the tech company. "Get up!" Thompson's voice shook the barracks. "Princess, it's time to wake up." Maya staggered out of bed. The other recruits had already dressed and made their beds. Maya's bed was still messy, her uniform improperly worn. "Chen, what is this mess?" "Sorry, Drill Sergeant." "Sorry won't help you. You need discipline." After breakfast, physical training began. This was Maya's nightmare. In the push-up test, while other female soldiers did 3035, Maya struggled with 10. "Princess," Thompson's voice. "Your arms are like noodles." Running was even worse. In the 3 kilometers run, Maya stayed in the last group, gasping for breath, drenched in sweat, while others had only broken a light sweat. "At this pace, the enemy will catch you," Thompson shouted as he passed by. The other recruits watched Maya and smiled. Especially experienced soldiers like Jenkins and Harris didn't take her seriously at all. "Why did she even come here?" Harris whispered. "She should have gone to a housewife's course." "Maybe it's a military experience her rich father sent her for," Jenkins added. "She'll run away in a few weeks." Maya heard these conversations but didn't react. She silently continued her training, making her own development plan in the evenings. The second week was harder. Obstacle course training had begun. Maya struggled to climb walls, got stuck in rope climbing, slipped and fell on muddy terrain. One day, while trying to overcome a particularly difficult obstacle, she fell. She hit her knee badly and groaned in pain. "Princess got hurt," Jenkins shouted mockingly. Thompson approached. "Chen, get up." "Drill Sergeant, my knee." "Your knee is fine. This is mental weakness." Maya forced herself up. There was severe pain in her knee, but she didn't complain. She tried to complete the obstacle while limping. That night, when she went to the infirmary, the nurse said there was a slight sprain in her knee. "You should rest for a few days." But Maya attended training the next day. Despite the pain, despite the difficulty, she continued. The third week began weapons training. Maya struggled here too. The weight of the M16 rifle was challenging her. and she had difficulty handling its recoil. On her first attempt at the shooting range, she couldn't hit the target at all. "Princess," Thompson approached. "You're afraid of the weapon." "No, drill sergeant. I'm just... What? Is this weapon too big for you?" Maya's face turned red. The recruits around were laughing, but she didn't give up. That night, she researched shooting techniques online, learned briefing control exercises, mathematically studied bullet trajectory. The next day was slightly better. She still couldn't hit the target perfectly, but she got closer. "There's improvement," Rodriguez said when he came alongside. "But it's not enough." Maya didn't give up. During night hours, she went to the training area to practice positions. She perfected weapon cleaning techniques. She improved a little each day. In the middle of the 4th week, a demoralizing event occurred. During a team assault simulation, the entire team was deemed killed because of Maya's slow progress. "We all died because of Princess," Jenkins shouted angrily. "This woman is going to cost us our lives." "Calm down, Jenkins," Harris said, but he looked uncomfortable too. "I won't calm down. If someone like this is next to us in real combat, we'll die." Maya said nothing, but her eyes filled with tears. That night, she cried silently in her bed. Maybe they were right. Maybe she really didn't belong here. But when she woke up in the morning, she had made her decision. She wouldn't give up. At the beginning of the 5th week, big news came: urban warfare simulation. This test would measure soldiers' ability to engage enemies in urban terrain. The most important test. This simulation, Thompson explained, will determine your performance in real combat conditions. In a complex urban environment, you'll distinguish between enemy and civilian targets and complete your mission. Civilian casualties mean major point loss. If you miss enemy targets, mission failure. Maya's heart was beating fast. This was her last chance to prove herself. The simulation complex was an impressive facility. There were buildings, streets, and rooftops mimicking a real city. A laser tag system was used, with every shot and movement recorded by computer. A briefing was conducted before the simulation. The scenario was complex. A terrorist group had occupied the city center. There were hostages. The civilian population couldn't be evacuated and was still hiding inside buildings. The soldiers' mission: neutralize enemies and rescue hostages without civilian casualties. As Maya put on her equipment, she noticed her hands trembling. Would it be enough? Would her physical inadequacies hold her back again? The other recruits were joking around. "Princess will die in the first 5 minutes," Harris said. "I say 2 minutes?" Jenkins laughed. "Maybe she won't even be able to start." But Rodriguez had noticed something. Maya has been doing night studies in recent weeks, reading strategy books. "What difference does it make?" Jenkins said. "You can't win wars by reading books." The simulation began. Maya started advancing with calm steps. Her physical speed was slow, but she calculated every move. She looked very carefully around corners, listened for sounds, systematically analyzed the environment. When she entered the first building complex, she determined her strategy. Instead of rushing, she drew the building's plan in her mind, calculating probable enemy positions. Her software development experience began to kick in here. The ability to break complex problems into small pieces, algorithmic thinking structure, pattern recognition skills, all of these were turning into advantages on the battlefield. At the first enemy contact, other recruits had reflexively started firing immediately. Maya took position and waited. She tracked the enemy's movement, calculated the positions of civilian figures, evaluated the possibility of crossfire. She only pulled the trigger when she found a safe shooting opportunity. Hit. 10 minutes passed. Maya was still alive, and her score continued to rise. In the control room, Thompson watched in amazement. "What is this girl doing?" "She's approaching analytically," Rodriguez said. "Not rushing, calculating every move. But her physical speed is very slow." "Yes, but she's making the right decisions. She hasn't made a single wrong shot." Maya continued advancing in the simulation. Every decision was calculated, every move strategic, which path to take, where to pause, when to fire. She analyzed everything. In the second building complex, she encountered more complex scenarios. multi-story building, different situations on each floor, hostage scenarios, traps, hidden enemies. Maya approached systematically. Starting from the ground floor, she began methodically clearing each floor. As she climbed stairs, she was careful not to make noise, forming each floor's plan in her mind. On the third floor, she encountered a complex hostage scenario. In the large hall, there were 3 civilians and 2 armed enemies. The enemies had hidden behind civilian figures. If she fired incorrectly, she would cause civilian casualties. Maya took position and analyzed the situation. She calculated angles, watched enemies' movements, drew the bullet's probable trajectory in her mind. This was similar to the 3D modeling work she did in software development. Calculating objects' positions in 3-dimensional space, collision detection, these were her areas of expertise. When she found the perfect angle, she neutralized the enemies with 2 precise shots. No civilian casualties. Incredible, shouted the technical specialist in the control room. 2 direct hits, 0 civilian casualties. Thompson was now watching in a mesmerized state. Who is this woman? As Maya continued the simulation, she showed strategic intelligence in every decision. She trapped enemies, ensured civilian safety, achieved maximum effect with minimum risk. 30 minutes passed. Maya reached the 4th building. Here were the most difficult scenarios: multiple hostage crisis, bomb threat, and most dangerous identity verification problem. When Maya entered the ground floor of the building, she saw 8 figures who appeared to be civilians. But according to the intelligence briefing, one of them was a hidden enemy, carrying a bomb and disguised as a civilian. If she made the wrong choice, she would fire on an innocent person. If she made the right choice, she would save the operation. Maya carefully observed each figure: body language, positions, clothing, objects in their hands, eye movements. She analyzed every detail. Software development experience kicked in right here. Data analysis, pattern recognition, anomaly detection, these algorithms were working rapidly in Maya's brain. She noticed small but important differences in one figure: trying to hide his left hand, eyes constantly scanning exits, posture different from others, as if hiding something. Maya made a mathematical probability calculation. She combined all her observations. The result clearly pointed to a single figure. She made her decision. With a single, precise shot, she hit the target. Correct target, the simulation system confirmed. Bomb-carrying enemy neutralized. Maya moved to the final section. On the top floor was the final scenario: high-level hostage crisis. The enemy leader was holding 2 hostages at gunpoint, and he himself was a very experienced operator. When Maya reached the roof floor, she assessed the situation. A normal approach would be too risky. The enemy was in a strategic position, using hostages as shields. But Maya thought of an alternative approach. She formed the building's roof plan in her mind, examined ventilation shafts, fire escapes, glass panels. Then she made an unexpected move. Instead of a direct assault, she used an alternative route from the building's exterior facade to reach the enemy's blind spot. This move was a tactic that even the simulation system didn't expect. When she found the perfect position, she neutralized the enemy leader with a single shot. Hostages safe. The simulation ended. When the scoreboard appeared on screen, there was deep silence in the control room. Maya Chen, score 100/100. Civilian casualties 0. Enemy target neutralization 15/15. Hostage rescue 100%. Tactical innovation bonus plus 5 points. Total time 47 minutes. This is impossible, said the technical specialist. No one has achieved a perfect score for 5 years, and this is the first time I'm seeing a tactical innovation bonus. Thompson was frozen. His view of Maya had completely changed. When Maya exited the simulation area, the atmosphere was completely different. Nobody was joking. Everyone looked at her with respect mixed with admiration. Chen, Thompson said, his voice completely changed. Would you come to my office? In the office, Thompson looked at Maya, this time with different eyes. How did you do this? Before answering, Maya thought. Drill sergeant, I know I have limitations in physical strength, but I can compensate for these with my mental abilities. I approach every problem analytically, think systematically, make data-driven decisions. Do you have previous military training? No, drill sergeant, but problem solving, algorithm design, 3D modeling, pattern recognition, these are my professional expertise. Apparently, they're applicable in military strategy too. Thompson nodded. Chen, I must admit I made a huge mistake about you. I apologize. Everything changed from that day forward. The princess nickname became history. They started calling Maya strategist. They began seeking her opinion in tactical planning. When the simulation results were reported to higher command, it attracted great interest. Maya's profile was examined in detail, her abilities evaluated. When basic training ended, Maya received a very special offer: specialization in cyber warfare and tactical intelligence at Special Operations Command. At the graduation ceremony, Thompson gave a special speech. This term taught us all a very important lesson. Real strength isn't measured only by physical muscle mass. Intelligence, strategy, analytical thinking, perseverance, and character. These are also a warrior's most critical weapons. And sometimes the greatest heroes emerge from the most unexpected places. After graduation, Maya called her family. Dad, I made it. You were right. Real strength lies in being able to make the right decision at the right time. That night, she wrote a long entry in her notebook. People may judge you by your appearance, by first impression, but your real worth is measured by the performance you show under pressure. Prejudices are always wrong because human potential is very complex and multidimensional. Physical strength is important, but not sufficient alone. Mental strength, strategic intelligence, analytical approach, and these are equally valuable. In fact, in some situations, they can be more critical. Most importantly, knowing your own limitations, but understanding that these limitations aren't absolute, unchangeable limits. Every deficiency can be compensated with a different strength. Maya Chen's story became legend at Fort Bragg and began to be studied as a case study in military training programs. How the looked-down-upon princess achieved a perfect score in urban warfare, simulation showed how traditional military evaluation criteria could be inadequate. From that day forward, no one judged Maya based on appearance, because the real battle was won in minds. And Maya Chen was the greatest proof of that. In the later periods of her career, Maya brought revolutionary innovations to the field of military strategy. She developed new approaches by combining her technology background with military tactics. But she never forgot that simulation day, the day she first discovered her true identity, realized her potential. Years later, when she became a respected strategist and trainer, Maya would often tell new recruits, the battlefield isn't just physical terrain. The most important battles are fought in your mind. Your greatest weapon isn't your muscle mass, but your ability to think clearly under pressure. And every time she said this, she remembered that day when Drill Sergeant Thompson called her princess for the last time, and how everything changed when the scoreboard showed 100 over 100